To join.
Very nice. So welcome. It's so exciting to get started. You all to welcome you to the free webinar today. I'm excited as I'm looking at the panelist box as to who is showing up, because some of you I know and many of you I don't know. However, welcome to our webinar today. As you see here, the 5 very simple steps to unlocking your hidden potential in life and in career and in business. As you see up here on the top left, my name is Tuck Self, and I am your host and I'm your presenter for today. I am also one of the upcoming instructors for the foundation courses that are going to be starting. Mine actually begins 2 weeks, I believe, from the day on May 17th at this very same time. As you see here, I am here with a panelist of individuals who I'm delighted are here with me. My very good longtime friend, Anne, is here as our guest assistant. She's the certified BG5 consultant. We have Eustace, who is going to be the class assistant for the foundation courses that we'll be teaching, that I'll be teaching this month. And then we have, thank goodness, we have Sarah Riddick, the BG5 business administrator, and I will speak in a minute to what Sarah's going to be doing in looking at the Q&A box and responding to those of you who speak to us there. So hold on and we'll all tell you a little bit about who we are in a minute. However, to let you know that today, what we are going to do is introduce you to the BG5 system and the BG5 Institute, who we are and what our mission is in the world. And of course, talk to you about the upcoming foundation courses that are beginning this month. I think to also give you an opportunity to get to know me and my teaching style, so that as you make your choice to join the foundation course, you will either join me and or one of our other instructors. And it is important as well to thank you for your time and your listening. I hold that your time is very, very precious to you. So your choice to be with us today is acknowledged. And we trust that by the end of our time together, that you are going to leave the webinar, I'll say, inspired by new insights and discoveries about yourself, and that there will be an aspect of you that will be compelled to join one of our foundation classes that are beginning this month and the few months thereafter. And so to specifically let you know what we are going to be talking about today, I'm going to speak to the major time of transition that we're in, you all, that we are feeling, I say, the effects of every day, and to excitedly share with you as well that it is this time of transition that the originator of this system, Rauru, who spoke to many times over the years, so that you can discover and, let's say, understand what it is that we're excited about in terms of having this system BG5 in place to support us through this major time of transition. Also, based on all of the things that's changing, one of the other things that it's changing is our workplace, the landscape of how we work. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to specifically talk to you about the 5 simple steps to unlock your hidden potential. In talking about those, we will introduce you to the magic, I say, and the methodology of this BG5 system. I think it will be fun for those of you who either do have your chart in front of you, or those of you who don't. If you can take a moment while I am talking and introducing myself, and we're introducing ourselves, to grab a copy of your chart. You could go to the BG5 Business Institute website and look for this icon here, and or go directly to this URL and have a copy of your chart. I think it will be fun for you to have that in order to follow along today as we talk about the 5 simple steps. To also know that as we're giving you the information with these steps, we are skimming the surface. We will dive deeply into these steps in the foundation courses. So to get the full value and transformational value of what you'll learn in the foundation systems. No, again, we're simply skimming the surface with that today. And also because we are trusting that you're going to be inspired to join one of our foundation classes, we will let you know how to do that at the end as well. Also, to say to you, I'm going to do a lot of talking. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information with you. Therefore, I'm going to pause here and there and ask two things. Number one, given you have questions, given you have comments, we are requesting that you put those in the Q&A so that Sarah has access to those to either respond or to bring that to the attention of Anne and Eustace and myself. Also, after I do, I'm going to say a little bit of the introduction around the major time of transition that we're in the changing landscape of the workplace. We will pause and we will look at who has joined us today in terms of asking you to share with us what is your career type, because I think it would be fun to know what that is before we move forward. So that's what we're going to be covering. That's where you can look for a copy of your chart. FYI, a little bit about me, with the absolute clarity that this webinar is not about me. I was introduced to human design way back in 2003, as you see here, and I was deeply, deeply moved, inspired, and I'm going to say more importantly, identified with the information that was in my unique career design. I've spent many, many, many years working in the corporate world. Over these, I'm going to say 70 years of my life, I've done many things. And what's important to know is that everything that I have done, what you see here on this slide, is powerfully affirmed and confirmed in my career design chart. I'm going to say fortunate in 2017 to get an email from the BG5 Institute. And I dove in on my journey to be certified as a BG5 consultant, profit potential coach, OC16 cycles consultant, and now delightfully and excitedly, I am an instructor for the foundation courses as well as the certification courses. So I will say to you, I hold myself as a personal growth enthusiast. I am a board certified coach. I am an absolute advocate for the highest potential of others. And the BG5 system is and has been my go-to for providing that roadmap for people, not only in life, but also in work and career in a beautiful way. And so what I trust you'll discover in listening to us today is that this system really does powerfully identify your gifts, skills, and talents in a way that allows you to live at your zenith, doing what you love, and as a byproduct, feel that fulfillment and prosper bounteously. So this is how come you might want to listen to me, because I've done all of these things and I so excitedly love that, again, much of it has been affirmed in my career design chart. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to hear from Eustace, Anne, and Sarah, specifically in terms of, with Eustace and Anne, what the benefit was for them going through the foundation courses and how it has benefited them so far, and or any other thing you might want to say about yourself. And Sarah, to give you an opportunity as well, since I'll probably be talking for quite some time. So Anne, I'll ask you to go first.
Hey, thank you. I was introduced to human design by my friend Tuck back in probably 2004, if she was introduced in 2003, and was immediately fascinated by it and studied and studied and studied, took courses and courses and classes, and shared it with friends and family, not as a paid thing, but and it enriched my understanding of my daughter, my family, my friends, and they loved hearing what it was I had to share. And then again, Tuck introduced me to the BG5 system, which I also took the foundation classes and the 3 semesters of consultant certification. And what I love about the BG5 system is the language. One of the things I love is the language, the updating of the many of the terms and the types, and they say it's more accessible. I think for me, it's more accessible, and for people I talk to, it is too. And again, when I share with friends mostly about their career design and different aspects of it, they are blown away by how accurate it is. And that's exciting for me, of course, and it keeps me excited about the system and sharing it. And for the foundation course in particular, even though I'd been studying off and on human design for a long time, I learned a lot. There was an expansion of my knowledge and the information and a greater depth. And I learned more about myself. It was very revealing more about me. And then, of course, when I share it with my daughter and my friends and family, it's been invaluable to all of us. And that's what I have to say right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Anne. You stay.
Hello. So yeah, I'm like absolutely in love with BG5 system. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. I get to know BG5 just 3 years ago, around 3 years ago. And I was like totally shocked when I found out about my design, because I was living totally not in my role and having jobs that didn't suit me. So it was like a big wake-up call for me, because I knew something was wrong, but I was just thinking something was wrong with me. And yeah, I feel like my life totally changed since I started finding out about my design. And then so it went less than a year when I joined TUC in BG5 Foundation. And yeah, it's been a journey that still now I'm like still getting to know more and more when I'm having my clients. And I think it's something that everyone should know. And since we are children, like I'm sad that I found out about it when I was in my 30s, but I think it's never too late. And it's a system that can help everyone. And it answered me so many questions about, let's say, my relationships, my job situation, everything. I think it's just like a miracle for me. And yeah, I could talk about it nonstop. So yeah, I think for now that's it, but I'm open to share more if there is anything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm happy that you're going to be assisting. And, one thing I, didn't say, and we'll talk about the career types today. I am an express builder in the BG5 system and as a classic builder. You stay as an advisor, and then Sarah is also an express builder. So Sarah, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about the us being a provider for CEUs. Is there anything you would like to say before we get started?
Hi, thank you all for being here today. My name's Sarah, and I manage the office email. It's office@bg5businessinstitute.com, and I'll put that in the chat in a second. But any questions that you ever have about taking courses or resources, pricing, you need help with something, finding something on the website, just email me and I'd be more than happy to help you. I've been working for BG5 Business Institute for almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in August. And I initially started with getting us accredited through IASET. And so with that, we're an accredited organization, by an outside entity that puts a stamp of approval for our courses, saying that they're up to par so that students will meet the learning outcomes, students will be successful, and that they have the proper supports in place, and that our instructors have the proper supports in place for everyone to be successful. So with that, we are allowed to award continuing education units, CEUs, and a transcript. So whenever you complete a course, you can put in a request to me. That may help you with your career. Maybe you need continuing education units to move up on the pay scale, or you're required to do professional development. We can help you with that as being an accredited provider. I'm also in the middle of foundation semester 1. I'm almost done with it. And I just have to piggyback off what everyone else said, that it is really transformational. And it's really interesting to look back on my life and see where I wasn't following my design and how that impacted me, and a lot of aha moments. And I'm really thankful to be learning this information with my husband and my children. And I just think that my children will be well off knowing and living this information and living their design correctly. So thank you for having me, Tuck, and I'll turn it back to you.
I'm excited that you are here and excited that you are part of the BG5 world. One of the things I love about the BG5 Institute is the incredible support that's available for those of us who are going through the courses and through the certification processes. Yeah, one thing I'll say before I dive into the major time of transition, Ann and I both, I've been a part of this information, human design, BG5, for 20 years now, y'all. And even still, I have ahas and insights, such as we've been talking about, still today learning things about myself at the ripe old age of 70. It is an incredible system. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward and share with you this slide. The slide's been around for a while. It's actually one of my favorites, not only because of the information that's on the slide, but there is a piece about it that's very settling, based on the changes that we are going through today, that we have been going through for the past 3 years. Having this information in terms of where we've been and where we're going is absolutely huge. Again, the originator, Ra Uru Hu, the originator of human design, has spoken and shared for years that this transition is and or was going to occur. And we are right smack dab at the end of it, as you see here, in that for the past 400 years, since 1615, we have been operating in a cycle and in an era that's called the era of planning. That's a long time. So we've been doing things, building things, developing a way of life now for quite some time. And what's interesting is that that era and that time is coming to an end, and it's coming to an end in 4 short years, 2027. So these effects, the changes that we're feeling now, have everything to do with this major time of transition. I say it's settling in that I really do believe, y'all, that we are here on this planet right on sacred time, that we've been designed to be here to move through this transition. And the fact that we have the BG5 system, I know for one, I can sit back, take a deep breath, and know that I have a solution and a system that's going to support and guide my pathway forward. So looking at what's here and looking at where we have been in this age for the past 400 years that has had everything to do with building institutions, communities, large corporations. I mean, look at our healthcare systems, educational systems, our governmental systems, the social, the political, the economic institutions that, truth be told, we have given our power over to these external authorities as if they know better for us than we know for ourselves. Also, the way that these institutions and communities operate, they operate through collective agreements and bargains. If you look at how we work, I agree to go to work and do work for X amount of hours and get X amount of dollars for pay. So there's this collective agreement and this bargaining trade type of way that we have been working and building over these years. We've also, for the most part, been individuals who have spent boatloads of money and lots of time on honing specific skills so that we could gain materially, so that we could be successful, so that we could climb that corporate ladder so that we could be at the top of our game, create the money and the success that we're looking for, really working hard for the money. I mean, think about it, not so much today, but definitely when I was growing up, individuals work for one company for their entire career and then retired. That is definitely not business as usual anymore. So if we look outside our door and or outside our window, we see that these structures are being dismantled, and the things that work for us are not necessarily working anymore. And so the good news is, with this information, we know exactly where it is that we're going, and we have a beautiful, beautiful body of knowledge and system to support the way forward. So if we're moving, as we're moving out of this age of planning and out of this, way of giving our power over to external authorities and working competitively and alone, we are going to this age called the age of individuality, which makes me very, very excited. What this means is that this new way of living is going to have everything to do with you as an individual, what makes your heart sing, what empowers you and what inspires you from the inside out to be creative, to live from the abundance of your spirit, so that you take those leaps of faith in yourself where you're trusting that you are expressing yourself from your natural innate gifts, skills, and talents, doing what you love, choosing how you want to make your contribution and spend the lion's share of your time doing what you love, because you are trusting your inner authority, because you are honoring your individuality. And you know what that is, because you have your unique career design chart. And what this is allowing you to do is to experience a success, but do it with ease, and again, prosper as a byproduct. And so as you're working from this place of your own individuality, trusting yourself, what we'll discover is that we're going to be drawn to the right people, the right jobs, the right environments. We're going to bond with one another and work and cooperate and partner with each other in ways that I make up we've never experienced before, because we are moving into this new era and we are moving into it in a new way. So I, again, am very grateful and thankful that we have the system to guide and move us through the shifting times. That's an overview. That's like a broad spectrum look at the changes. If I bring it down personally to you, to your everyday life, and to what's happening in terms of how you work and where you work, and I'm even going to say how come you work, again, our workplace, the landscape of how we go to work is changing, and it's changing in extraordinary ways. Again, what we thought was business as usual, it's changed. There is no usual anymore. And based on, I'll say the pandemic and the way things have been moving, many of us have been, in quotes, forced to look at how we're doing things and to do them differently. Here are just a few of the different ways that the workplace is changing. The way people interview is different. I know when I came along, there was no internet and there was no virtual way of doing things. And so that's changed. There are a plethora of staffing companies, out in the world today to support individuals in finding work that's right for them. And once that right work is found, the way people are hired, that whole onboarding process is different these days. What's really, really changed is that most people are still working remotely after what's happened over these past 3 years. They aren't physically getting together in office spaces together, which then is going to change how people gather for their team meetings and their management meetings. And so rarely are people face to face. Look at us, you all. We are on the computer talking, virtually to one another about powerful information. So things have really changed. I laugh at the 7 dwarfs that said, hi ho, it's off to work I go. Work is no longer necessarily a place to go, you all. That's not how we do it. I myself walk from the bedroom to the office to work every day, which is quite exciting. So with all of those changes, just to share with you a couple of percentages, which I think really speak to the power of what we have and the power of what's happening. with all of the time off, people again have had time to be in solitude and reflect and re-examine and, look at their professional lives and whether or not they want to do things differently. 73%, according to the Great Resignation movement, 73% of the movement wants to continue working remotely. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. 54% are burnt out. My favorite is the 39% that want to be their authentic selves at work. So for those of us who are BG5 consultants and who are sharing this work, we have a powerful tool for supporting people to be their authentic selves when they're working. Here are some of the reasons cited for quitting. Frustration is the first here, which if you join us and as we move forward, given you are a builder, frustration is it is your signpost to know that you are off track. And there are things that you want to do to get back on track to be satisfied. People say they are undervalued, they're exhausted. The one that I hear the most about is work-life balance. People don't feel balanced in their work and their personal life. Lack of growth opportunities has also been cited. So again, for those of us who have the system for ourselves so that we can find that right career and or are looking to support others, we are right on track. And again, I keep saying right on sacred time. Here's an update. 40% of the people have left their jobs because of burnout. 28%, I love this one, actually leave their jobs without another one lined up. That says a lot in this day and time, y'all, for what individuals are willing to do for themselves to be authentic in their work. And then 37% are seeking greater compensation because they're looking at what they are spending the lion's share of their day and their life doing. And so finally, just to share with you that Ryan Roslansky, the CEO of LinkedIn, has said when he speaks about the younger people of today, the Gen Zs, and what he's calling the great reshuffle, that company CEOs are rethinking how their companies work. They're rethinking their culture and they're rethinking their values and about what it means to work at their company. Big plug for our BG5 certification courses. How we work with small businesses and large businesses is a huge support for this rethinking in terms of culture and values. He also says for the employees, they're rethinking not just how they work, but how come they work, and they're looking deeply at what it is they want to do with their careers and their lives. So that's a lot going on, and it's a lot going on in our favor. So I'm going to propose to you a big what if, and the big what if is, what if you had your own personalized map for reinventing, for rethinking, for reshuffling yourself and your work? And what if this map gave you all of the information and the insights that you personally required so that you could fully understand who you are and how you operate? And going a step further, what if it identified your natural inherent gifts, skills, and talents? I believe that each of us is born with our own natural gifts, skills, and talents that are ours and unique alone to us. And to know what those are so that the people that are out there waiting for us to share those gifts with them can be introduced to us. It's huge for us to know what those are and also know what is the work that we're designed to do. So what if this map held the secret to your potential? What if it held the secret to your greatness? Again, what if it supported you to personally rethink your values and balance your work and your work life? And we've mentioned this earlier today in terms of moving into this age of individuality, how we're looking to be with the right people, bond in the right ways, be in the right work environments. What if this personalized map actually gave you that information as to where you're designed to work so that you could do what you love to do, contribute in the way that makes your heart sing, and with all of that, you make money and you prosper as a byproduct of doing what it is that you're designed to do. that feels joyful to me. It feels creative, and it certainly feels easy. And I love easy. And so with all of that being said, those of us on the panel today, you all want to welcome you to BG5, the BG5 Institute, and to say that we are the official source for the career and business application of what the world, I'll say the others know as the human design system. Here at the Institute, as Sarah was speaking, we educate, we train, we certify career and business consultants and coaches so that we can go out into the world, you all using this proprietary system to empower individuals so that they know what their talents are and they're able to utilize those and show up in their fullest potential in life and work, in business careers, in organizations, on teams together. One of the most exciting things that has come across, I was going to say come down the pike, one of the most exciting things that has occurred recently that we're very, very proud of, the Washington Post recently identified human design, as you see here, as one of the top end trends for 2023. This is huge, huge for us, and huge because what people are familiar with is astrology. The Enneagram seems to be a really big thing out in the world today as well. So our time has come. Again, we are right on sacred time with this powerful system that we have to share with others. And speaking to the power of the system, one of the things that we love to share about it is that it is it is like a personal and a professional assessment tool. People in the world today are very familiar with Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders, DISC, and I'm sure there are many, many, many more. And so you may think of this one as a cross between those types of personality assessments, as well as a genotype assessment that reveals your genetic identity. It's very, very powerful. And one of the things that makes it unique, like really, really unique, is that to get to the results of this assessment, you only have to ask and answer 3 questions. And those 3 questions never, ever, ever change. It's your birth date, your birth time, and your birth location. How come that's a big deal? Any of these other assessments that we go and take, there are a set of subjective questions that we're answering from our personality based on how we feel that day. I'm a very moody person, so it would be based on my mood. So there's a lot of a huge chance for the results of those tests to change and shift based on who you are that day. From my experience with the BG5 system, from my experience in working with clients, I know I heard Anne and you, Stacey, say the same things in terms of their clients. We find that this is the most practical and empowering information for individuals to not only unlock their hidden potential, y'all, but to live it to its fullest and to thrive. And so that's our mission here at the Institute, to align you with your authentic work, to support you in identifying your inherent, born with natural gifts, strengths, and talents, so that you can go out into the world fully expressing yourself and being authentic, like that 39% wants to do, and doing work that you love and prospering as a byproduct. So with the setup today of, we're in a major time of transition, and the dynamics of the workplace are changing. We really do believe that offering you BG5, the system of BG5 as your source and your solution, is the key to your moving forward in a very powerful way. I love this quote by Tony Robbins. I actually love Tony Robbins. Identify your problems, but give your power and energy to solutions. It feels really true in terms of how we operate with individuals and partnerships in small and large businesses here at the Institute. We are what is called this problem solution focused system. If you move forward with us, you will hear that a lot in the foundation, but mostly certification courses. We are problem solution focused. We're rethinking ourselves. We're reinventing ourselves. We're doing the same with businesses. And it's all because we have this beautiful system as our solution. So imagine having that map I spoke to in your hot little hands, giving you the key to knowing exactly who you are, how you operate, what's going to move you forward from this place of inspired action versus, maybe you're forcing yourself to do something because you have to make money. Imagine you're able to express yourself from this new place of confidence, doing what you love, being authentic, trusting your inner self versus those external authorities of the past. And because you have this personalized map, again, in your hot little hands, you not only find yourself in the right work, you're going to be in the right environments, you're going to be with the right people. And you're going to feel inspired to make your contribution and do it in a cooperative way, working with others, again, in ways, y'all, that I don't think we've ever experienced the fullness of and had the possibility to with this system that we have here. And so here's where we're going next. We're going to look at those 5 simple steps that unlock your potential. We're going to look at your career type, which is how do you best utilize your energy in the most natural, efficient, and effective way, sharing your true gifts, skills, and talents. Again, we're going to only skim these. Know that we dive deeply into these elements in the foundation courses. We'll talk today about your personal interaction style, which you're going to find is a function of your career type that gives you information on what your non-verbal communication and energy presence is doing, how it's communicating, which is really, really important. Number one, for clear communication, but also to eliminate any misunderstanding and friction in how you are interacting with others. We're going to talk about the decision-making strategies, how you can make the choices in your life that you can rely on that are in alignment with your natural process, the one that's unique to you. Step 4, we're going to look at defined functions. If you have a copy of your chart, this is what's colored in. It's colored in terms of those 9 functions. This represents, again, your core strengths. What are your inherent gifts and talents that you're here to share with others so that you can be aligned with those and achieve success personally and professionally. And then step 5 is going to be the shadows and distractions, the places in your life that you'll also find in your career design chart that pull you off track, that distract you from living at this highest potential and operating from who you are. You will also learn in the foundation courses, we'll touch on it today. You're going to learn how to recognize these shadows and distractions, and more importantly, utilize them, turn them into deep, deep wisdom that you were designed to share with others. So those are the 5 simple steps that we'll go over in a moment. So that I can take a sip of water and take a little rest, you all. We are going to look at, I'm going to have you, look at the Q&A box. I think that's where you've asked people to put the information, Sarah. For those of you who know what your career type is, we're going to ask you to put that in the Q&A box. If you don't know what your type is, you can go to the website and grab a copy of that based on the slide we showed earlier. For those of you who have come to us from the human design world, given you are a manifester in the human design world, please know you are an initiator in the BG5 world. If you are a generator in the human design world, you are a builder here. We'll talk about that today. We'll talk about classic as well as express builders. If you are a projector in the human design world, here you are an advisor like you stay, and reflectors are evaluators. So, and if you have a better directive, Sarah, other than having them put that in the Q&A box, is that the best way for us to do the survey here to discern types, career types?
The chat is probably the best place for that. Q&A is best for questions only.
Okay. So if you guys would take a moment and type into the chat box what your career type is. We'll pan through. Yeah, because we can't populate them, right, Sarah?
What do you mean by populate?
In previous webinars, that we were able to populate the actual percentages. Poll. Thank you, Renee.
Yeah, we did not set up a poll ahead of time, so
Okay.
I can try to tally them for you though.
All right. While you're doing that, Sarah, I'm going to let our individuals here see what the 16 success codes are that are a part of the BG5 methodology. Also to look here and see that what's in the blue are all of the success codes that are covered in the Foundation 1. In Foundation 2, we look at the public role. So that's 11, 12, 13, and 14, general thematic strengths and contributions, traits and qualities. And then the remaining success codes are covered in the BG5 certification. FYI, also giving you do an overview and or a full analysis session. You can see here as well what is covered in those particular sessions. Again, if you were to implement just these 5 steps today, know that you will today in the here and now begin to change and transform your life in very, very powerful ways. So not that you had to poll, Sarah, but did you get a feel for what we have here by chance?
Yes, we have, I believe 9 builders with us today, 7 advisors, and 1 initiator, and no evaluators.
Okay, great. And keep that in mind as we look at one of the slides, the up and coming slides. I'm going to stop here to see if there's anything that you, Sarah, and you stay, any of you want to add in terms of the introduction so far. In terms of, I keep saying this right on sacred time, this time of transition that we're in, and how we are positioned to support individuals in moving forward. Anything you guys want to add? I'm assuming that would be a no, since I don't hear.
Yeah, this is Ann. I'll just say one quick thing. The 5 steps that you just went over, knowing for me and people I've shared this with, knowing those 5 steps is in and of itself life-changing. So, and then there's layers and layers and layers of beautiful details. And however, those 5 basic steps are the heart of the BG5 system.
Yeah.
In your career design.
Thank you, Anne. You know, it's simple in theory, challenging in practice is what we used to say in my math classes. The 5 simple steps, as we're going to go through them, they really do seem very simple. However, the power that they have to change and transform your life. Again, if you were to implement only these 5 within all of the other 16 success codes, you would begin to change your life immediately. And so I'm going to move ahead, and you stop me along the way if there's an ad for you, and or if there's anything in the Q&A that we need to respond to. I'm trusting, and everybody has a copy of their chart in front of them, which will be great as we move into the different steps. So simple step number 1 is career type. It has everything to do with how you best express yourself in the world. As it says here, the career type reveals the easiest and the most natural way that you're designed to apply your energy and share your true gifts with the world. As I shared earlier, we are each born differentiated, unique, and I have something, you have something to share with others that's specific and unique to me and you, and to know what that is huge, so that we are available to serve the people who are out there in the world waiting for us. So what you'll learn about your career type and the different career types, I believe, will free your expression, give you permission to be exactly who you are in a world that looks to homogenize us and want us to be same. And I make up that, you know, as you are introduced to your career type, somewhere on some level, you have intuitively felt like this is true for you for your entire life. Also, to know that in addition to each of us being designed to live and work in unique ways, we're also designed, y'all, to work in different environments and to interact in different and specific ways with one another based on that environment, the environment that we're in. And so your career type is going to give you this one very simple way to authentically express yourself, going back to that 39% that we talked about earlier, so that you can prosper and you can serve. And so with the career type, we're giving you a way to begin individuating yourself as we move towards this age of individuality, you all, that we reach in 2027. So here are our career types. I think you said 9 builders, 7 advisors, 1 initiator. So we have our 4 foundational career types here with the percentages. For those of you who are initiators, we'll start with you in the yellow section here. You are 8% of the population. And as you can see, your career type has everything to do with your being innovative, with initiating, getting things started, because your gift is a gift of impact. You know, you're designed to apply your energy that way and to get things up and running. And what I find fascinating is that you are the only career type that's designed to operate that way. I find that intriguing because I'm in the 92% that was educated, trained, and encouraged and conditioned to operate like an initiator when it's really not correct for my career type. This is correct for you, oh initiator. This is who you are, and the rest of us are patiently and powerfully waiting on you to initiate us. So that is you as the initiator, 8%. Builders like myself and Anne and Sarah, we are designed to move the energy along. We have this gift of energy and vitality and creativity where we're generating this beautiful life force for ourselves and others by building and by doing. We have 2 types of builders. We have the classic builder, 37%, that would be Anne. We have express builders, 33%, that would be Tuck and Sarah. I'm a math major, so I love to add those together and say, oh my goodness, we make up 70% of the population. And in essence, we are ruling the world. And what I mean by that, we have a huge effect on the world by how we're expressing ourselves. So we really, really want to have this information so that we are expressing ourselves, 70% of us, in a powerful, satisfactory way. Then we come to our advisors. That's you guys in the green here. You are 21% of the population. You are here to guide the process. Your gift has everything to do with being recognized. And once you are recognized, then you are available to lead and guide the energies of the rest of our types. It's going to be important for you to wait for that recognition, because the recognition gift that you have allows you to bring people together in a way that you can organize people and maximize the resources of people, maximize the energy of the rest of us in efficient and effective ways. So know that recognition is your gift, and you are here to guide the process along. And you are pretty rare. You're 21% of the population. That leaves us with the little sliver here, the evaluators. 1%, that's very, very, very rare. And so evaluators are here to give us information and tell us how well our environments, how well the world, how well our communities are going or not through their gift of objectivity. When you have an opportunity to look at an evaluator's career design, you will notice that all of their functions are wide and open, so there are no defined core strengths. We look at our evaluators like the canary in the coal mine, sampling, reflecting, and evaluating the quality of the environment. So what's important to know, here's how come this is important. We want to live together in the world. We want to cooperate. We want to build things. We want to be able to initiate, advise, and guide in really powerful ways. When you do not have the information about your career type, I believe you're going to find that your life is one of effort and struggle. You're going to feel exhausted, confused, overwhelmed, overworked, and working really, really hard to not get where you believe you deserve to go. And with this information, quite the opposite happens. You live a beautiful life of peace and satisfaction and success and delight, where you are experiencing, I'm going to say, joy, creativity, and ease, doing what you love, doing what your natural gifts inspire you to do, and being fulfilled and prospering in the process. So that's the exciting information, you all, about our career types. If there are any additional comments and or no questions, I will move on to simple step number 2. So are we good here, you all? Just ask somebody to give me a yes so I can move ahead.
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
Okay, simple step number 2, your personal interaction style. This step is going to give us information in terms of how are we interacting with others? How do we best interact with other people? Because it reveals how to eliminate friction. It reveals how to communicate clearly and effectively, personally and professionally. And y'all, when I look at the world and its lack of listening and lack of clear communication today, I go, who doesn't want to have this information on their personal interaction style? So one thing that we share in our courses that some people are aware of, some are not, 93% of how we are expressing ourselves, how we are interacting and communicating with others is on an unconscious, non-verbal level. And so it's the energy that we're bringing, whether we know it's the energy we're bringing it or not. So to have this information and to live in alignment with it is going to determine the clarity and the ease of your communication personally and professionally. So when you have this information and you're operating in alignment and you know what your personal interaction style is, know that your message, number 1, is going to be clear. People are going to hear you in the way that you intend to be heard. There's going to be no misunderstandings, and the resistance in the communication, any friction is not going to be there. How come that's important is that when there is no friction and you are communicating clearly, you're going to be able to attract all of the right people, events, and circumstances and opportunities to you that you're designed to receive. Not true when you aren't operating in alignment with your personal interaction style. In that case, your non-verbal communication is going to come across distorted. It's going to literally sound like the static does on a radio or TV. You're going to feel misunderstood. You're going to feel probably awkward, rejected. Not only will you feel that way internally, it will actually show up in your external world in a similar way, chaotic and confusing. And you will start not attracting those things that are correct for you, and or you will attract the things that are incorrect for you. And even if you did attract what was right, you wouldn't see it through the static and the chaos. So this step is huge in being understood, heard, and listened to, getting rid of any friction and resistance in the communication, and more importantly, you being able to, I'm going to say, attracting all of the right things into your life. So here again are the 4 career types that we looked at a minute ago. Remember, I said your personal interaction style is a function of your career type. So the nonverbal communication for each of these career types will start over here with those of you who are our initiators. Your nonverbal communication energy will come across as closed and protective. It's challenging to get in. So to some people, it might feel slightly repelling. Remember, you're here to create impact and initiate and to get things started. So with this, somewhat closed and protective energy, your personal interaction style is going to be, I'm going to inform others before I act. When you do this, you're going to minimize any resistance to your impact, to your flow, which is going to make you a very happy person because you're not feeling interfered with, you're not feeling interrupted in your flow. In fact, when you inform before you act, other people can get prepared for your initiating power and impact. And not only can they get what you're up to, they'll be able to join you and they'll be able to support you in beautiful ways, which is going to have you feel this beautiful sense of peace and freedom. So that is you as an initiator. That's your personal interaction style. The 70% of us who are builders, we have this non-verbal energy communication that's open and enveloping. That's what we bring to the conversations and to the exercise of life. We're gifted, remember, with that gift of moving things along. However, we have a tendency at times to overcommit or say yes to the incorrect things. So what our personal interaction style says for us to do is to stay open and available and wait and respond before we engage, so that we respond naturally to those right people, to those right opportunities, so that we experience the enormous satisfaction and are able to be creative and able to be vital and energetic in powerful ways. So that is builders. Moving over to the right in the green, we have our advisors who have a nonverbal presence that's focused. You can see he's focused in and absorbing. Remember, you're gifted in recognizing the talents and the gifts of others. And so for those others to be available and receptive to what you have to share for you to feel successful, your personal interaction style is to wait for that recognition and that invitation. When you do, you are naturally going to draw people to you who recognize your talents, who recognize your skills. Given you don't do this, given you don't wait for this recognition and invitation, people are not going to get you. They're not going to be open to you. They're going to feel interfered with, which is going to have you feel upset and bitter. So wait for the recognition, because that will have you feel seen, felt, heard, recognized, and successful. When we come to our evaluators over here to the right, you have a nonverbal communication that's sampling and resistant. We like to say like Teflon. Remember, your gift was objectivity, is objectivity. And so your presence is reflecting the environment as a whole. Therefore, it's important for you to be at the heart of a group or the center of a community or the heart of a business where you're able to freely move around and sample and reflect as a whole. For you, if you're not in alignment with your personal interaction style, you're going to feel disappointed. So what you want to do is wait and assess and then reflect and then discuss before you engage. Remember, you've got all of those open functions in your design. So you're taking in a lot of energy, which is going to bring a huge possibility, I'm going to say, for resistance and disappointment. So for you to wait and assess. So that is the personal interaction style. Did I leave anything out, Anne and or you say that I need to add, or any questions about the personal interaction style?
Excuse me, that was very complete and thorough for an introduction.
Yeah. So again, we dive deeper into this in our foundation courses. We are simply touching on what your nonverbal energy is doing today with the simple step number 2. I am going to move to simple step number 3, decision-making strategy. You know, Anne and I are talking about the simplicity of the 5 steps. There is a simplicity to this step as well, knowing your best process for making choices in your life, in your relationships, and particularly in your work. You know, your personal decision-making strategy is going to reveal your natural, unique process that's going to guide you to make choices, the best choices for yourself in any situation, and to do it with confidence, reliability, and resilience. You know, choices, decisions shape our lives. And I'm learning I'm a control person. And one of the things that I am able to control, which I think is a really good thing, is how I make my life choices. It's the one thing I do have some sense of control over. So wouldn't it make sense, you all, for us to have the information in terms of how do we make choices in our personal and business life? Again, decision-making strategy, given you follow this one simple step and align with what's right for you here, all of the other 16 success codes, but that would be 15, all of the other success codes will fall into alignment right behind this one, because you are following this one strategy and this one step alone that's going to shift the outcome of your life forever. So you want to know what your decision-making strategy is, and you also want to know what we will share with you through both foundation courses, which is where you do not want to make decisions from. And I make up, it's not any surprise for any of you, that would be from your mind, contrary to what I know I was raised and trained and encouraged and educated to do in terms of making choices. The worst place ever from which to make a decision is your thinking mind. Your thinking mind. What we want to utilize the mind for is what it's good at: taking in information, studying, learning, observing, weighing all sides. However, when we give the mind our decision-making authority, it's going to throw us off track. It's going to second guess your decision-making strategy. And it's going to do that from a place of fear, because it makes up that it needs to keep you safe and certain and secure. And we know there is no real safety, certainty, and security in the world. It doesn't want you to repeat past experiences. It wants you to reach your future goals. I mean, it almost lives in fear of not reaching those future goals. It wants you to get exactly what it thinks you want. And again, it's doing this from your shadow behaviors. It will have you act emotionally, impulsively, trying to fit in, to be like others, to not be rejected. It wants you to prove yourself, to prove you're good enough, that you're worthy, that you're smart. It's going to get under pressure and make you in a hurry to make choices when that might not be your decision-making strategy. That might not be the way that you make decisions. Again, all because there is a fear of the unknown, a fear of missing out, and a fear of the future. So as you're looking at this chart here on the right with all of these 9 functions that are white and open, we're going to talk about them being white and open when we talk about simple step number 5 in a minute. You're going to learn that it is out of these open places. If you have an open function in your design, it is out of these open places that we make decisions from our mind, because we're operating from a place of fear and shadow behavior versus our decision-making strategy. So this is not where you want to make the decision from. You do want to make your decisions from your decision-making strategy. So knowing, again, how to make those right choices for yourself is key. We're not going to dive into the different decision-making strategies in this webinar. We leave that to the foundation courses. What we want you to get is how important your specific strategy is based on your career type. And so we'll start with our initiators that we've been talking about. You know what your career type is. You know how it operates. You know your personal interaction style. You're to inform before you act. You're going to create that beautiful impact in a very healthy way that's going to make you feel peaceful and free in your flow. You're going to have the support of the people around you. Or if you're on that previous slide and you're stuck and you're making decisions from your mind, none of that's going to happen. What is going to happen is, again, you're going to feel rejected. You're going to feel resisted. You're going to feel interrupted. So you have 3 different decision-making strategies. You are either going to be what we call emotional clarity, where you're waiting out your emotions for clarity. You could have what we call instinctive knowing, which has everything to do with your intuition and your instincts, and or you could have a decision-making strategy called willful determination that has everything to do with your willpower. So again, we're enticing you to come and discover what your decision-making strategy is. Initiators have 3, builders, you have 2. Remember, you're doing what you love, you're using your energy in a vital way, in a creative way, you're satisfied, you're moving things along when you're following your decision-making strategy. And when you're not, you're going to feel frustration. You're going to feel stuck with where you are. So you want to know which one of your decision-making strategies is configured for you. You are either going to be wait for clarity, emotional clarity as well, and or you might be a builder that operates from your gut response. You have 2, I'm going to say only 2, being 70% of the population, which is very intriguing in itself. Given you are an advisor, like you stay, when you're aligned with your personal interaction style, following your decision-making strategy, you're going to feel successful, seen, felt, and heard, remember. However, if you're off in your head, thinking and living in fear and making choices from those places of fear, you're going to feel bitter, not seen, felt, or heard. You have 5 different decision-making strategies. So that's a lot. That is the most diverse in terms of how we operate, even with your 21%. So wouldn't it be great for you to have a full understanding of what your decision-making strategy is, which one is yours? You as well could have emotional clarity. You as well could have instinctive knowing. You could have willful determination. And then the additional 2 are, as an advisor, you might be someone who listens to what you say from the core identity of who you are, and or how you sound as you are reflecting what you're saying, and you're hearing it back from a trusted group of, I'm going to say, advisors and or friends. So those are the 5 decision-making strategies for you as an advisor. When you come to being an evaluator with all of those white and open functions, know that there is only one decision-making strategy for you. Given you are in alignment with your personal interaction style, you're going to know it because you're going to wait, you're going to reflect, you're going to discuss, and you're going to feel delighted. If you're off, allowing the mind to dip into any one of your open functions and make a decision for you, you're going to feel extreme impatience and disappointment. So you want to come to the foundation courses, you all, to discover, in terms of your career type, which one of these decision-making strategies is unique and specific to you. So that is simple step number 3. Anything to add there, Anne, and or you stay? Anything I've left out?
Ma'am.
Ma'am. Okay. We have 2 more steps to go. Simple step number 4 has everything to do with your functions, your 9 functions, the defined functions. So if you have a copy of your chart, these are the functions that are colored in your design. And what they do is that they identify your core strengths, your traits, your talents. They give you information on what you are able to rely on in terms of power when you are expressing yourself, so that you're able to be grounded, you're able to be influential, you're able to align to the true nature of who you are personally and professionally. So every design has the same 9 functions. You want to look to see whether yours are colored in or not. Know that each one of these functions relates to an aspect of your biology, but most importantly, again, gives you information in terms of what your core strengths are, so that you can rely on them in a powerful and trustworthy way. You may know these, you may not. We'll start at the bottom. The brown square here is what we call drive and stamina. In the BG5 world, it is the root in human design. And it supplies in this adrenalized fuel and pressure that's pressuring things to get going in your life, that's fueling and pressuring the entire body graph. We have the red energy resource motor that makes us builders. That's the sacral in the human design world. You're going to learn that you're either a classic builder or an express builder, remembering that this is the motor that's generating this life force energy that has you build and create and be vital in beautiful ways for yourself and others. The survival instinct function is the spleen in design, and it represents your intuitive awareness and power. So this is where your instincts, this is where your intuition notifies you in your body in terms of what you need. It alerts you to what you require so that you can survive, adapt, and thrive. Over here, directly opposite is emotional intelligence, the solar plexus in design. This function holds this potent emotional energy that you have the responsibility, and I'll even say the privilege of learning how to harness as you move through the up and down waves of your emotions. That's the emotional intelligence function. Willpower, this cute little red triangle, when it's defined, it's the ego and the heart in design. You are someone who is designed to be in control of your life and your resources and how you work, and to make promises, to keep those promises. It is how you build trust in keeping your promises to others and doing what you say. Then we have the yellow diamond, identity and direction. This is the G center in human design. So if and when you have this function defined, know that you have a very strong sense of self and identity that's fixed and true and reliable. You know, your direction and your mission in life is clear for you, and you're natural at pointing out the ways for others. That's fixed, consistent, and reliable. When we come to the communication and action function, this is the throat in human design, this brown square. When it is defined, it says that for you, there is a consistent, there is a trustworthy and reliable way that you express yourself. And because it is the way you express yourself, it may limit you in some sort of way, because it's the only way that you are here to express. And how you express has everything to do with what this function is connected to. If it's connected to your mind, you can speak from your mind. You can speak from your instincts. You can speak from your identity. You can speak from your willpower. And if you're like me, you can speak from your emotions. Then at the top of the career design chart, we have the yellow mental inspiration head in human design. When this is defined, I believe Anne is defined here, you have a fixed way of thinking with thoughts that are available to uplift and inspire and motivate others with possibility and with questions. And then for the conceptualization function, that's the ajna. When it's colored in, when it's defined, you are someone who loves to process data. You love being mentally creative and stimulating yourself and others and inspiring others to think with this function defined. So knowing what your defined functions are in your design, again, it's going to give you permission and support you in expressing yourself authentically. Going back to that 39% again, it's going to give you information about your body's intelligence, and it will allow you to function, we believe, at a higher level of awareness, creativity, effectiveness, as you share the core strengths of who you are with others. So that's simple step number 4. I'll ask again, Anne, is there anything to add? You say anything to add there?
Very clear.
Hey.
I will just say that this part was the most important for me when I found out about my design. This and decision-making strategy, it's like eye-opening, and yeah, I think it's a must for everyone to know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Which one of you're an advisor, which one of your functions are open, you stay? I don't remember.
So I have a wide and open with no activations, identity and direction. And that was the huge part of my life where I was, you know, conditioned by other people and questioning myself, like, what's wrong with me? Because I had so many educations, jobs, changed countries, and I changed so many locations where I was living, and I was like, okay, what's going on, you know? And yeah, now I know why. And it's totally fine now. Yeah.
You know,
But
it's
I have also opened emotional intelligence. That was also really huge.
yes, yes.
And
You know,
yeah.
we speak a lot in the foundation courses when we're talking about the definition versus the undefined, which is going to be important. Knowing what your defined functions are, you're going to want to know how to express them in a healthy way versus an unhealthy way, which we talk about in the foundation courses, because when you are expressing your definition in a healthy way, the functions that are open, which Yuste was talking about, where we have a tendency to operate from conditioning, will operate from there versus the wisdom. So I'm going to move into step 5, since you were speaking to your open functions as well. You state this is where this last step, the shadows and distractions, are really, really important. So important that we spend 3 classes here. These are the areas that we call undefined in your design because they're white and open. And what they reveal to you are your challenges, where you get distracted, where you get pulled off track from achieving success. And when you look at your design and you look at what functions are open, it's important to know they've been open for your entire life. Therein lies the reason that we are operating from shadows and distractions, and that we have been conditioned from the outside world and from outside influences, and we don't have the information or the awareness that that's what's happening. So number 1, the fact that we identify and become aware of the shadows and distractions is huge. Number 2, what's really beautiful is that we give you the information on not only how to be aware of what the shadows and distractions are, but how to utilize those and turn that information around to your advantage, to use that life experience as a lesson, because what you're really designed to do is then share your wisdom from these white and open functions. So when you are operating from your definition in a healthy way, your open functions are going to be places where you share wisdom versus what happens on this particular screen. Because when you're operating from your shadows and your distractions, I make up, you're going to feel confused internally and externally. Life is going to feel chaotic. You're going to be angry, possibly frustrated, bitter, disappointed. Each of our functions has a shadow behavior question that you can ask yourself if you feel stuck, if you feel frustrated, unseen, felt, or heard. If you have the inspiration function open, the question is, have I lost focus? If the conceptualization is open, you could ask or notice, am I mentally defensive? Am I completely closed off and mentally defensive right now? Open communication and action, notice whether or not you're trying to attract attention and be the star to be heard. Identity and direction. Am I confused about my role and or my direction and mission in life? Willpower, you could ask, if you notice about yourself, maybe you're overcompensating, maybe you're overcommitting, maybe you are trying to prove something about yourself. When you come to the survival instinct, it's more about where are you hanging on to things for longer than is healthy and unable to let go? For advisors, for initiators, for evaluators with the open energy resource function, where am I overworking? Where am I overzealous? Where do I not know when enough is enough? For those of you with the open emotional intelligence, you might find yourself touchy, nervous, defensive, avoiding conflict, making nice, and open drive and stamina. Where am I under pressure again? And too much in a hurry, doing all of these things versus honoring my decision-making strategy. Again, the beauty is you have these questions that you can ask yourself to bring yourself present, and then utilize what you're learning here and turn it around and share your powerful, deep wisdom with others. So that is how the open functions operate for simple step number 5. Any questions, any comments, any adds, and that we have covered the 5 simple steps to unlock your hidden potential, you all, before we talk about the foundation courses, what they include and how you might join us. Anything for the 3 of you to add at this point?
This is Anne. There's so much to add and how to make it brief. The power of this information, as we've said, is transformative, and also in knowing other people's career designs and being able to support them to be who they are. That is also rewarding for me and very powerful. So that's all. And thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty. I am going to tell you about the foundation courses, you all, and how come, if you're embarking initially, this is a beautiful place to begin your journey. And even if you've been through human design the way Anne and I did, it is still a powerful, powerful way to learn the BG5 language so that we can share this information with professionals and in the professional world. And so we have 2 foundation courses. We have semester 1, we have semester 2, again, both providing you with a solid foundation to, number 1, understand your own career design, all of the 16 success codes and how they fit into that career design. You're going to learn how to apply the information in a practical way to empower your own life. You're going to identify what your individual gifts and skills and talents are. And not only identify them, you're going to be able to honor those and express and live from those. And as we just said with the simple step number 5, you'll identify your shadows. You'll learn how to utilize and move beyond those to share your wisdom with other people and to live and thrive and prosper doing what you love. You're also, as Anne just mentioned, going to find out how to gain an understanding of other people, your family, your friends, the people that you work with, your clients that you might share this information with, how you interact and communicate with others in your life and in your work. It's going to be huge to have that understanding. You'll know and you'll get information on how to, I'm going to say, improve those relationships, because you have the understanding of the deep dynamics as well as the nuances that show up in a career design that make us the same and that make us different. And you'll learn that it's not personal, that it is mechanical. And so once you have this information on how to interact and live with others, all that resistance gets removed and you're able to make successful connections and have meaningful interactions with other people. As we've said, you're going to learn the BG5 terminology, because you will look at the nuances of a BG5 career design chart, learn that language, look at those keynotes so that you can understand yourself as well as sharing the information with others. Again, know that the BG5 language is different than human design in that it has been adapted to the everyday materially lived and working life. And then finally, to know that taking these courses are a prerequisite and will prepare you for the professional BG5 consultant certification courses, which Anne, Eustace, and I all 3 have taken and have been certified in, and are very happily moving out into the world, sharing this information with others. So that's what the foundation courses are about, so that you can take a look at what it is that you will learn specifically. Semester 1, you're going to unlock your personal operating style. What does that mean? It means that you're going to learn about your own career design. We're going to introduce you to the language and the terminology. How we're going to do that is in 10 classes. Each class is 2 hours each. We will be teaching for those 2 hours. What we're going to cover are the career types. There will be 1 class for each career type. We'll go back through the personal interaction style again, because we all want to know what our nonverbal communication is doing so that we attract the right people versus what's incorrect for us. We'll go over each of the decision-making strategies that I mentioned earlier so that you know how to align with your decision-making strategy. A couple of things that we didn't talk about today, your key indicators for being on track or off track. You've heard me say frustration and satisfaction. Those are the key indicators for me as a builder. When I am frustrated, note to self, pun intended, I need to get myself back on track and back in alignment with my career type, personal interaction style, and decision-making strategy so that I live a life of satisfaction, because I'm part of 70% of the planet that's putting energy out there, and I want it to feel satisfactory to others versus frustrating. We'll also talk about something called the assimilation process, a whole class on that. We're all taking in information and processing and digesting information, and we do it differently. There are a couple of different ways to do it. I'm an independent assimilator. I like to be alone and independent. Anne is a collaborative assimilator. So it works best for her to be collaborating with others. Some people are more synthesizing in how they process information. So they like to gather the information from different sources. So that's one thing we'll look at. We'll look at the 9 functions that we talked about today deeply, at how they operate in a healthy and an unhealthy way. Shadows and distractions, 3 classes, so that you can identify your conditioning, as it says here, take advantage of it, and turn it into the wisdom that you're here to share with others. And then we're going to do one other thing that, again, makes our assessment tool of BG5 different from the other personality assessment tools. You're going to not only identify the conscious aspects of your design, also the unconscious aspect, what's going on underneath. Again, the other profiling systems do not give access to that aspect of who we are. So the information, the BG5 Institute has put this together beautifully, layer by layer, so that you can take it in, digest it, practice it, talk about it, live it, experiment with it, and share it in class. That's semester Foundation 1. Foundation 2, it continues. We continue unlocking your hidden potential by looking and understanding what is your creative potential and operating style. Semester 2 is action-packed. It to me goes deep into your career design, deep into the dynamics as well as the nuances of a career design. Here you learn about the 3 themes of how you work with others, what we call the general thematics. So do you empower? Are you more of someone who wants to share collectively, and or are you someone that's more supportive, with tribal and group type environments? Because it's going to make a difference not only in how you're approaching life, but also in what you're attracting in life. We'll look at the 36 strengths, which are the channels in human design, so that you know what to consistently rely on to make your contribution. We'll look at the 64 traits. These are gates in human design. This is going to give you information on what your gifts are, what your talents are, so that you can align with those as well and be authentic in your expression with others. We'll look at the 6 qualities of a trait imprint. This is what we call lines in human design. And this is about how a quality flavors the trait that it is accompanying, how it's flavoring that trait and expressing with that trait. And then we will spend a class or 2 on the 12 public roles, which has everything to do with how you are designed to fulfill your life purpose. This is the profile in human design, specifically what you're here to do publicly as a role in life's work. So that's Foundation 1 and Foundation 2, and all of the things that we cover in those 2 semesters. If you're ready to join us, we encourage you to join us today, because the early bird pricing ends today, you all. If you are ready to join only semester 1, because I'm going to talk to you about the essentials packet in a moment, the price normally for Foundation 1 is $875. The early bird price is $825. My class begins in 2 weeks, May the 17th, same time that we began the webinar today. Given I don't resonate with you, check some of the other instructors out as well. But this is how you join the foundation course. There is also a payment plan, as you see here, $437.50 for each payment. That's for the foundation only. If you still aren't sure you're ready to join us, please know that you can come to class 1 for free. as you see here. I think you ought to go ahead and join us today. Okay, so BG5 Institute has done a spectacular job in putting together an essentials packet for those of you who know and are ready to take Foundation 1 and Foundation 2. As you see here, $825 versus the $875 for both courses. You also get the Emotional Intelligence Self-Study Workshop course presented by Karen Sherwood. That's free versus $175. You also will receive a one-on-one career design overview for $249 versus $395, and you will get a complimentary Success Code Complete report. So given that you are ready for the essentials package, the full payment for the early bird price is $1,899. There is a payment plan for 5 months for $119 here as well. Sarah, I'm going to ask, is there anything that you want to add here if I've forgotten in terms of signing up? I think this is a beautiful package in that you save about $500, you all, if you embark upon the essentials package. Anything you want to add, Sarah?
Yes. I put the links to register in the chat. There was the link to register for Foundation 1, the link to sign up for the first class for free, and then the link for the package. And then I'm just going to answer Tula's question live. Her question was, is there a discount if we had a previous class in IHDS? So the discount that we offer for those students is if you just email me at office@BG5 Business Institute. If you have taken Living Your Design, ABCs, and cartography, then you can qualify for the discount of the audit price, which is $500 per semester, or $1,249 for the package. So it is a significant discount if you've taken all 3 foundation courses with IHDS. Just email me.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. That is all that I have to deliver and say today, other than I would love to have you all join class with me this semester. It would be so much fun. I have the thought you stay would feel the same. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your presence. Anything for you, Anne, before we go, anything for you, you stay before I say goodbye.
Well, this is Anne. I just, let's see, how do I say this? I love your teaching, your presentations, how you work with this material, how you present it, and having been your assistant through Foundation 1 and Foundation 2 before, and I think some other classes too, I lose track. It's a joy to be with you, and I recommend Tuck for everyone. She's great. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Anne. You're my friend. I feel like we've been on.
This is Yuste. So I would like also to recommend Tuck. It's been like really so nice to be in your classes, and I would like to encourage everyone to join. And it's not just a studying, but it's a lot of fun to be in a class with Tuck. So it's really exciting.
Thank you, Yuste. I'm excited to have you join us as the assistant. We're recording this. Sarah, I'm assuming we will put it in on the website. Am I correct about that? You'll put the
Yes, I'll put the recording on the website and I'll email it to everyone. And then there were just a few more questions. If you'd like me to answer them, Tuck.
Yes.
And I apologize if I pronounce your name wrong, but Karen said that since there is no truth and the now for us emotional ones, deciding today is kind of not so easy. I understand that, and I'm guessing that you're referring to the early bird price ending today. So if it's okay with Tuck, we can extend the early bird pricing for those of you that attended the webinar today. If you'd still like to receive that discount, if that's okay with Tuck, you can just email me and I'll give you a coupon to receive that if you need more time to decide. because we definitely don't want to pressure you. I'm an express builder, and I make decisions by following my gut. So I usually get just a yes, no response very quickly.
That's great, Sarah. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, but some people need more time, which I understand. And then regarding the ones who took the 3 IHDS courses, the discount is $500 per semester instead of $825 per semester. So it's a discount of $325, and you can just per semester, and you can email me to receive the link to purchase that.
Okay, is that it?
Yes.
So do we put this PowerPoint in a PDF anywhere for individuals, Sarah? And I'm asking only because there are testimonies here, FYI.
Oh, yeah, of course. If you would like to send me your PowerPoint, I can send this as a handout to everyone when I send out the video.
Okay, perfect. I'll get that to you. Thank you. So you all, thank you for being with us for this time today. I look forward to having you in one of my classes or seeing you in one of my fellow instructor classes. Sarah, thank you. Anne, thank you. You stay, thank you. And you all have a fabulous, fabulous day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.